What I love about Montana is how small it makes me feel. It's a good reminder. The fact that we're just here for such a short amount of time. The only time that I really allow myself to slow down is when I make specific time to go out into nature. Culturally, we have lost a lot of being able to read our surroundings. I think of hunting as you are incredibly observant. It's vast out here. It allows your brain to quiet. You can breathe deeper.
I'm gonna take my shoes off because I can get much closer in my socks. It wasn't a sow and it wasn't a cub, it was just a young black bear. But it spotted me pretty early and then it started eating again, all the snowberries. So I was like, oh, maybe it doesn't know I'm here. It knew I was still there.
Success is just doing it. It's just trying. My childhood growing up, basically in like a suburb in Orlando, Florida, it was good for me to get out of the city. I moved out of Orlando and I moved to Hawaii. That's where I really embraced the natural world. To find fulfillment and enjoyment in something, whatever that is. My life really changed probably about 10 years ago. I've been a skydiver for 17 years. 14 of those years I was an instructor. I ended up having a parachute that collapsed. I broke my back and I shattered my pelvis and I dislocated my left sacroiliac joint and I had some compound fractures in my left leg, and that's where I think I found what is now my true calling and passion in life, which is being a healthcare provider. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I primarily serve the homeless population. I also treat substance use disorders, and I have a part-time job as a sexual assault nurse examiner.
Creek bed that's pretty lush and green. A deer. Could be where the green is. Onward. Wasn't quite sure which direction the wind was coming from, and I want to hunt away from the sun. So just a little bit of dust showed me that the wind is in the right direction.
I met Dean in Joshua Tree National Park. I was living in my van doing travel nursing. I just kept staying in touch with Dean, and we would go climbing, and he showed me some really great places here in Montana. And eventually my van broke down, I don't know, I guess the rest was history. I really wanted to have children with Dean. Our first 2 pregnancies ended in a miscarriage, and after our second miscarriage, we had a conversation on the couch about how far we really wanted to pursue this. Because I'm 37 and I'm a geriatric pregnancy. Being with Dean, I couldn't imagine not having children with him. I'm currently in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy and I am due in December. I've been very grateful. I knew we're a great team and he'd be a good dad, and it's another adventure, right? Wasn't sure how it was going to go. I initially was incredibly cautious and very nervous about this pregnancy. I was worried about doing anything wrong that could potentially jeopardize or lose this pregnancy. I know that Dean was also a little bit nervous about me being by myself or hunting, and I just don't want him to worry. Initially, I didn't think, and I really didn't see it impeding my hunting season. So I wasn't sure how this season was going to pan out.
You want to grab that toolbox?
Yes, yes, I do.
Take it off there.
Okay. The more you twist it, the longer it gets?
So I'm an 1/8 high, and then after breaking the string in a little bit, it'll
Give a little.
it'll stretch just a bit.
Okay. It's a little different these days. It mattered to me to hunt while pregnant because of how much hunting means to the family. And it's something that I enjoy and appreciate so much that I wanted to share it and experience it with my baby, even though it's never gonna know. To be able to share that connection so early on. Also a little bit of that to prove that I can do it. Success!
I am now in my 8th month of pregnancy. Now that the belly's getting a lot bigger, I don't want to say you get in the way, bud, but it's definitely a lot more difficult to move around.
I'm just tired. I don't want to leave the house. I'm nesting super hard. I'm like in preparation mode. You question yourself, rightfully so. Part of me was also very determined to continue to participate. I hope that this doesn't just take what someone's passions or desires are off the table. I'm pregnant, so I can't, you know? I want it to be, I'm pregnant and I can. Antelope hunt, I felt, was probably going to be a little bit more successful for me. Antelope hunting is very different than deer hunting. I wasn't having to cross streams and hop over logs and traverse scree fields. The downside is that it's real open. Antelope have very good eyesight. And we spot this group of antelope. When I was ready, I remember pulling the trigger and, you know, bam! All these antelope start running and they don't know where it's coming from. And then eventually that smaller group kind of scurries off and there's one doe that's just standing there. End up pushing this antelope over this hill and into a ditch. Unfortunate downside of hunting is the reality is not all the time is it as clean as you want it. When I was younger, I thought I had more control over my life in the world. Then through a series of events, you realize that there's so much you have absolutely no control of. I went to the hospital on Thursday, and we didn't leave there till Monday. Turns out I have a very rare anomaly. My body doesn't make a substance called Wharton's jelly. The structural component that gives the umbilical cord its resiliency. I had the worst feeling that something really bad was going to happen. It didn't feel right. Every contraction, his heart rate would fall. The decels became later and longer and lower, and it just kept getting worse.
Friday night, she was in the tub all night long because her pelvic injuries and the screws that everyone said weren't going to be a problem were. It was just clear that it wasn't good.
4:42 in the morning, I asked them to do a cesarean.
I don't think Jacqueline asked for the cesarean. She more or less demanded it. After a long night of more or less being in agony, she was laughing about it. Finally, he cried. Came out and he cried, and that was a really good moment.
And we didn't know if it was a boy or girl. So that was really cool.
It's a boy. It's a boy.
Ready to watch the kid while we grind some meat? Yeah. You want to do the brekkie first? Breakfast sausage?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because that's a lot.
We need 24 pounds of the meat, 5 pounds of the shoulder. Maybe we mix some and put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
This is part of my antelope, but I don't know. We just combined it. 4 pounds of mustard brats, 11 pounds of whitetail ground. You can divvy it up. 4, 4, 4, 11, 24.
4, 4, 4, 11, 24.
You're gonna be doing all of this one day. We got all the generations here for the meat processing, huh?
All right. Start sifting.
Looking back, and it's only been, he's 25 days old, life really didn't exist before he was born. Okay, you're gonna get your pants right back on. His umbilical cord averaged 0.8 centimeters, which normally it should be 1.25 to 2.5 centimeters. So he just had a wimpy, noodly little umbilical cord, but he had enough blood flow. It had all 3 chambers, had good amniotic fluid, he had good growth. So I didn't want any interventions, and I ended up with all of them. Oh, it's just so cool. I don't know. It's really cool.
Talking about it is kind of weird, and the fact that, you know, we put so much weight into how we got the little guy, but we get the baby. We get the baby.
And he's a really strong guy. Even though he doesn't look like it right now. He's peaceful. Strength. This is what strength looks like. Dean has him practice his archery form, and it is the cutest thing. You want to see it?
And this is the fly rod.